All right, so I'm here with Troy Allen, founder of the...
No, wait, start again. No.
I'm here with Dick Dickley.
Nice. Actually, the landlord's name is Richard Dick. So his name is actually Dickie Dick.
Wow.
It's fucked up.
Yeah. Bet he had like the best middle school.
Oh, I'm sure.
But this is not Dickie Dick. This is Troy Allen, of the founder of the 16-bit Bar+Arcade, or Bar+Arcade, here in Columbus, Ohio, and whatnot. And so, right off the bat, how'd you get the idea?
Heck, it's an idea that I think everybody in town has had at one point or another. I grew up with these games. I grew up, riding my bike down to, the local Lawson's or Dairy Mart playing Karate Champ. So it's an idea I've had for a while. I used to live in Chicago, and I'd always go back there. There's one in Chicago called Headquarters Bar+Arcade. So I checked that out, and I was like, oh man, this is actually it's a viable business. They just killed it there, So Emporium opened up there in my old neighborhood, Bucktown.
Right on Milwaukee?
No, in Chicago.
I mean, in Milwaukee Street on Chicago.
Yeah.
I think I've been to that one.
Yeah. It's I used to live on the corner of Milwaukee, Damon, and North.
Oh, cool.
So it's like 2 blocks down. I started looking more into it, doing research behind it, because for me, it's still got to be a business. I wasn't really opening a bar; I was opening another business. So the business made sense. The numbers made sense. As far as Columbus goes, Columbus is long overdue for a concept like this. The demographic here, it's a young city, it's a tech city. So everything was kind of in place to do it. It was just finally making the decision to go to market with it and physically start. So
cool. So how do you start tracking down all the machines? Where do these all come from?
It's a lot of late nights online.
Just Craigslist?
It starts there. It starts Craigslist. It starts eBay. It also starts just networking with people. I came across a lot of people within this community. There's kind of a whole subculture, with the arcade games. I was fortunate enough to, create a conversation with a guy that's from Virginia, who, it's what he does full time is, seek out these games, restore them, sell them, and so I gave him a list of about 100 games, and he secured about 30 games over about 3 months. Never met the guy. He would just send me pictures, say, hey, this one's in great condition. Here's the price. I'd say yay, nay. So I got about 30 from a guy in Virginia. I got a couple from down in Birmingham, Alabama, some local here in Columbus, some from Cincinnati, literally all over. We started with a list of 100. We've secured about 65 of those, but there's still some of my favorites that we don't have, so we're still actively looking for games.
So of all the games you have here, what's your favorite one?
Yeah, I'm kind of boring. It's Galaga, to be honest with you.
I like Galaga.
It's just, that's like the one game that I play to beat a score. I never got into the fighting games. I never, that's the one game, that and Miss Pac-Man, that I've always played to beat a score. So, that's my favorite. But then some other favorites that we have that more of, from a standpoint of you don't see them often, are Tapper. Being an original Budweiser Tapper, and the condition it's in is kind of unheard of. It's unseen. Having Tron in the condition we have it, ones like that are still ones I enjoy. I love Spy Hunter. And Spy Hunter, the mechanics in it, they break all the time. So to have one of those up and running, we've had to fix it like 4 times now. But the Galaga is my favorite.
What's the game that you're missing that you need here?
How long do I have?
You get one.
Yeah, one? No, I'm not. I don't follow rules. We need Qbert, we need pole position, we need track and field, and just a favorite of mine, I need 720 skater die. That game is just, you can't find it anywhere. So,
do you have the Simpsons arcade game?
We do.
Excellent.
It's broke. So it's something that we're probably going to have to put a new monitor in and possibly get a new board. There was a couple games that we wanted to have on the floor and that we wanted to have for the opening, X-Men, we want it. That deal on that game kind of fell through. Simpsons is just under repair right now. But there's
Michael Jackson's Thriller.
No, don't have that one. But the other one is I want a Star Wars. I want an upright one though. We're not doing any sit-down games just because they take up too much room.
Right. So business-wise, you come from a background of marketing and of branding and whatnot. What steps have you taken to brand this place?
Just like we would approach any other client. It starts with the idea. We look at our demographic and who we're targeting to. We look at competition as far as other bars. We're pretty unique. And we start to craft a message that one is going to resonate with that end audience and is going to differentiate from everybody else out there. This is a unique concept, unique idea for Ohio. But we wanted more than anything people to really have an experience when they came here. So everybody kind of had their own perception of what it was going to be. Is it an arcade? Is it a bar? Why don't you call it a Bar+Arcade? Legally, we can't. But we're a bar first and foremost. We want it, a nice environment where I can go have a drink, but then also play games. We've had a couple people come in. The manager at Little Palace came in and she's like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't realize it was actually a bar." She was expecting to see like bright colored carpet and be full blown arcade. So the little visual cues from all the graphics, how we're handling those, to having the different nights as far as movie night, playing music from the era. We want everybody that when they come in here to kind of have those aha moments of, oh, I totally forgot about that game, or oh, I haven't heard this song forever. When people close out their tabs, we'll flip them a wax pack from back in the day across the bar, and they're like, oh, I totally forgot about these. Garbage Pail Kids, Mork and Mindy trading cards. So, everything we do, we try to stay on brand.
So, obviously, looking at this from a business, who do you see your competition as?
Competition-wise, there'll be others that open up. There'll be people that try to replicate it. We tried to do it. We put a lot of thought into it to set the bar really high to deter people from doing that. But the thing is, I think others can pop up. The town's big enough for one or two. You look at Chicago, you look at New York, you look at other towns. Our goal, though, was to set the bar so high that it would really feel like someone was copying it, to be honest with you. Our goal was to prove the concept here from a business standpoint, from a branding standpoint, and then take it to Cleveland, Cincinnati, other cities. Right. We ideally want 5 or 6 across the Midwest.
So you see, the future you see for this is not just this location, but then an expansion, a franchise almost.
We're not franchising. No, it's. They'll
or
all
opening
be
multiple locations.
Yes, there'll be multiple locations, but again, any market that we go into, we want to be very much part of the community. So when we did this here, as far as we looked at several different locations. My other business is downtown. I want to be part of what was happening downtown. I want to create a real sense of community and involvement with the Commons, with our neighbors from 30 Franks to Little Palace to El Camino. So any other city we go into, it's not like, oh, there's a BW3 zone on the corner. Just like we did here, we're going to listen to people. We want to be part of the community. We want to create buzz before we're there, and then become, kind of an institution within that community. So don't ever say franchise again.
Sorry, that was a terminology error, not a... So obviously you guys were planning to launch in July. It got pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. Was that a surreptitious tactical plan to build more hype, or was that...
No, it wasn't. I'm impatient.
The city having you under a barrel?
It's a little bit everything, to be honest with you. I'm just very impatient, when it comes to getting things done. So I put a very aggressive timeline on the project, which was 3 months. Everybody kind of laughed at me from a contracting standpoint, a city standpoint, but we pushed as much as we could. We did get delayed, with some things for the city, as far as fire code, having to put a fire system in here. Contractors, if I can get contractors just to show up and do stuff, that'd be amazing. But still to do it in 5 months when a lot of other bars take anywhere from 9 months to a year to come to market. Yeah, we were a little jumped out of the bag too quick, but you know, we're here now. So
cool. So with the games, are you going to be keeping it fresh and rotating games, or?
Yeah, I mean, so one of the things is we're constantly listening to what people want. So we kind of have, again, our must-haves and our want list, okay? We added games from when we announced the concept based on feedback of what people wanted, okay? So we're going to continue to do that. We do have about 10 extra games in the back, about another 20 in a storage unit. I'm happy with what we have on the floor now, but as games break, as we see things not being played, or if we get something like an Altered Beast or The Simpsons up and running, those are obviously going to come onto the floor. So yeah, we're hoping that, you know, it evolves over time. We have other games, we're going to rotate them in now.
So obviously this is not the nicest part of town, but Columbus is putting a ton of money into this whole area. We're trying to revitalize it a lot. How do you think you guys play into that?
Well, you know, saying it's not the nicest part of town, yes, the Greyhound station's down the street. Yes, there's a halfway house next door. But when you look at everything that's here, our whole goal was not to go in somewhere that was already like the place to be. So we said from the beginning, the short north, we weren't going to go there. We're more of a destination. We always want to be part of an up-and-coming area or the revitalization of an area. A lot's happened here already with Dirty Frank's, El Camino, Little Palace, with the Commons and all the apartments that are going in there. The building just to the south of us got bought, and it's going to be converted into loft space. Building just south of Riley Hawk, or Hawk Gallery, sorry, has been bought, and that's going to be kind of a tech corridor building. There's a lot that's happening down in this area that, again, we want it to be a destination more than foot traffic. We don't need foot traffic. We want people that are coming here because they want to come here and they want to be here.
Let's see, you've got some pretty nice drink specials up here and whatnot. What's up with the Orange Bloom? That's an unusual.
You know, that's something that just people drink. I mean, it flies off the shelves. It's like what happened to PBR 2-3 years ago. You know.
And where did it come from? Did you just see it on a list, an inventory list, and pick it up, or was it requested?
I know nothing about beer. I'll be honest with that. I don't like beer. But Wayne Walters, who's our director of operations, and then one of my senior art directors, Jared Langston, spent a lot of time looking over the beer list and determining what we wanted to have. On draft, we want all craft beers, and we wanted a wide selection. So we don't have 3 or 4 IPAs. You know, we have a milk stout, IPA, wheat. We wanted a wide selection there, but we also didn't want to really kind of step on the toes of everybody else on the block. So our distributors, you know, we all use the same distributors. So if Dirty Frank's was carrying something, you know, unless it's completely selling crazy, we try not to carry it. We want a selection across the block and not just here. You know, we try to keep everything very economical. So all of our craft drafts are $6. So a 16-ounce draft beer for $6. It's kind of unheard of when you start looking at, you know, your Dogfishes and your Bells. But again, we want it to be very economical for everybody. We do have $4 cans and bottles, and then we have what we call our basics, which are $3. So the Orange Boom, the Bud Light, and then we will have PBR, $2 all day, every day. We did have it on draft, but we sold a little too much of it. We blew through 3 or 4 kegs in a matter of a day and a half. So we want to get another craft on draft, so we're going to carry Tall Boys now instead. And then, you know, but we want to be more about the beer, more than just the beer. So, you know, one of the things that, you know, I pride myself in here is I'm a bourbon guy. I'm a bourbon snob. I love bourbon. So we have a really good bourbon selection here, you know, that will kind of compete with anybody else. But then the other thing is our cocktails. We really wanted to take a look at old school cocktails and reinvent them. So, you know, when you look at our menu, we have your old school cocktails, which are all classics. So you have a Manhattan, which is the Michael Douglas. You have an old fashioned, which is the Burt Reynolds.
Had that last night.
Well, there you go. You know, Moscow Mule, Dolph Lundgren. Kentucky Mule, John Schneider. But then we also have our more vibrant, fruity kind of drinks, which are tailored a little bit more toward the ladies. That is our new wave cocktails. So, you know, anything from the Tiffany Amber Thiessen, the Molly Ringwald, the Tawny Catane, so on and so on. So, you know, we wanted to have a really good selection of cocktails and specialty cocktails.
So, tell me about the space.
Yeah, so, I mean, we were, you know, location-wise, we were fortunate to find the location, but unfortunately, the space had to be completely gutted and revamped. It was a couple different offices. Long time ago, it was a fish market, and if you look over my shoulder, where the games are in the back where it's vaulted, that used to actually be a giant walk-in cooler. So we had about a foot of cork on the wall, ceiling, and floor that had to all be taken out. We flipped the staircase around to gain more room. But the biggest thing was we wanted to create a central point with the bar. So when you walk in, obviously that's the first thing you see. Up front, you know, we want to be able to have plenty of tables and TVs so people can, you know, relax, you know, watch a movie. You know, we're going to be playing, you know, kind of TV land, old cartoons. When there are sporting events on, we'll have those on as well. So up front was more kind of just bar. But then as you fan out past the bar, there's games down both sides. So you can kind of do a whole loop within the bar, which creates good flow, but also it kind of keeps all the games toward the back and more of the bar up front. We wanted to go with more kind of a, you know, very craft, kind of old school look. The industrial stools, exposed, you know, brick, exposed beams, kind of all the reclaimed wood you see on the front of the bar, above the bar, on the walls, and then just the chunky old tables and bar top. This is made out of silestone, which is kind of a favorite of mine. But we wanted things to be chunky, durable, you know, but yet, you know, clean, industrial, but still somewhat cozy, but, you know, still somewhat of an upscale feel.
Well, thank you very much for your time and
showing
us around and whatnot, and thanks for opening Arcade Bars.
Happy to be in Columbus, happy to be here and offer it to everybody. Everybody has their own expectations. We tried to deliver on all those, but we always want suggestions. So games, you know, drinks, you name it. We've been getting a flood of those online, and we are listening, we are responding.
Great. Well, thank you very much.
Thanks, man.